You know, when narcissistic people give you the minimum, the least amount of phone calls, the least amount of texting, the least amount of emails, the least amount of communication, the least amount of eye contact, everything. They give you the least amount. What they're doing is grooming you to accept their minimum while making you crave for or wanting you to give them the maximum. And this is where the breadcrumbing comes in. We talk about these terms, breadcrumbing and all these other terms, but we don't really get into it deeply. So they'll suck you in by giving you the minimum. But what happens is you'll complain about the minimum. You'll talk about the minimum. And they'll go, okay, yeah, I'll work on it. I'll change it. You'll leave and come back. And you'll get the minimum again. You'll leave and come back. And you'll continue to get the minimum from them. The least amount of holding hands and communicating. The text messages are very short. The phone calls are very short, if at all, 2-3 times a week, if that, right? And so then they start breadcrumbing you, and you start wanting more and desiring more and craving more of the breadcrumbs. More phone calls, please, Leon. More text messages, please, Leon. Leon, let's spend more time together. Right? And they'll go, okay, I'll work on it. I'll fix that. Then you leave and come back, and they'll give you the same amount, the minimum, the same exact amount. As long as you complain and they do a little bit more, and you leave and come back and complain, and they give you a little bit more, and you leave and come back, that's the breadcrumbing. Right? They give you a piece of white bread. Here, this is for you. They give you a piece of wheat bread. This is for you. Or the sourdough bread. Hey, baby, this is for you. And they keep it at a minimum for so long that when you get the little piece of wheat bread or white bread or sourdough, you're like, oh, it tastes so amazingly. And this bread feels so good. And all they're doing is training you to accept the minimum. And then when you come back for that minimum piece of bread, here you go, Lisa, Karen, Tanya, Tracy, Michelle, here's that bread. When you come back, you want to give them the maximum because that little piece of bread made you feel so good. This is breadcrumbing, ladies and gentlemen. They give you a little bit, and then they get more from you than you are getting from them. And what they are doing in this breadcrumbing, here's a little piece of bread for you. Here you go. What they're doing is starving you to death. Because when you come back, you're hungrier. You want more of them, and they're feeding you. They're feeding you this little piece of bread. Here you go. Here. And you're taking it, and it feels so good after because it's been so long, because it's a minimum, and they're starving you to death, and you're like, oh my, this feels good. And you give them everything. Stop the breadcrumbing.